welcome to Fresh Music Flavor. I go by Elisha, aka Shashisha. Tonight we have a beautiful group called Gospel X. Right, Gospel X, can you guys introduce yourself? Who do we have?
Hi, I'm Naomi and I'm 17 and I'm one out of 3 of Gospel X.
Hi, I'm Temi and I am 20 and I'm also one of 3 of Gospel X.
Hi, I'm Joy and I'm also 20 and part of Gospel X.
Wow, so guys, you've heard it. We have Gospel X in the house. Right, Gospel X. I know there is 3 of you guys, but I need you guys to give me a little CV about yourself. So we're going to start off by Naomi. Naomi, can you give me like a little bio, a little CV about yourself?
Well, I started singing with Gospel X when we first got together in 2015. I write songs for the group. I wrote Control, our first single, which was released last August. Outside of Gospel X, I'm currently studying at college, studying biology, chemistry, and religion. Things I enjoy to do are like obviously singing, dancing, cooking, art, that kind of thing. But yeah.
Oh, wow. So you guys have heard Naomi is in college and she enjoys singing and cooking. Temi, tell me a little bit about yourself. Give me a CV, a little bio about yourself.
Okay, well, I go to the University of East Anglia studying English with creative writing. So I'm quite into like writing, like scripts, books, all that kind of stuff. I'm also into films and all those kinds of things, and music as well. And yeah.
Wow. So you're into films as well?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, wow. So not just a singer, but also an actress. Yeah.
Not so much an actress, more in just watching films.
Oh,
writing them, but maybe one day.
Maybe one day, God's grace. Right, Joe, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Like the same. I like singing, I like music, and I dance too. So that's something that I like to do.
Wow, so you like to sing and dance. Guys, you've heard it. You know, they're multi-talented group. Right, can you guys just tell me, why have you guys chosen to do gospel? Because I know at this certain age, we like to have a bit of fun left, right, and center. But you guys have chosen to sing gospel music. Can you guys tell me a little bit about that? Why gospel?
I think it was just kind of natural. I mean, we all kind of became closer friends because we all went to the same church. So the reason that Gospel X even formed was kind of like from us singing together in praise and worship. And then we thought, our mum actually, me and Joy's mum, encouraged us to actually get together and rehearse and practice together and actually sing as a group. So obviously, as we started in the church, it kind of just made sense for us to sing about, God and do gospel music. But then I guess over time, we realized first it was more like a natural thing, but then over time we realized that it's actually a good thing we can do in terms of like outreach. Because, for example, not all of our friends are Christian, but the majority of our friends will listen to our music if we drop a song and find themselves enjoying it because of maybe how it sounds. And then also with the message aspect, which is obviously gospel, it's just kind of a way of reaching people who might not usually listen to Christian music.
Okay. I mean, you just said to me, you guys obviously started together, in church. That's where you guys met, right?
Yeah.
Is that... because Naomi and Joe, you guys met each other in church. What about Temi? Was it church as well?
Yeah, obviously Naomi and Joy are sisters, so I met them both in church. Also, they went to the same primary school as me, so we had like the church and primary school together, so we were around each other quite a lot. And our families are obviously friends, so yeah, we have like a tight circle.
Wow. I mean, in terms of your education and music, how do you guys balance it together? Because obviously last year you guys released your single. How do you guys balance, you know, school and singing? How do you guys do that? I mean, anyone can answer it, you know, Temi or Joy, anyone can answer.
Well, because we all are in education together, it's kind of like we're all aware of what everyone's doing. So we'll know if, you know, Joy has exams coming up, or if Naomi's revising for something, if I have essays due or something. So we kind of are able to navigate around it because we all have an understanding of what we're doing and the responsibilities we have in our education. So, for example, with Control, it was during lockdown that we kind of came to, it was just when lockdown was kind of ending-ish in summer. So we came together in that period because obviously we didn't have any educational responsibilities at the time. So we used it as an opportunity to get some music out there. And Anointed as well, we did that during the was it the Christmas holidays, or that we came together and did that because we were all free at the time. So it's just about kind of finding a balance in terms of understanding when we're free and when we're busy, basically.
In terms of the song Control, because obviously I saw that there was 4 of you. So in my head, I thought, okay, Gospel X, there's 4 of them. But then you guys say there's only 3 of you guys.
Yeah.
Is that, am I right or am I wrong? Did you guys start off in a 4, or did you guys, how did you guys?
It was kind of a thing where, because we started in church and it was kind of like our group of friends, it was more of like a thing that we did as a group of friends. So when we would do performances, for example, sometimes there would be like 6 of us, sometimes there'd be 4, sometimes 5, 3. Like it was kind of like not really a steady like number until when we started working towards Control. It was mainly us 4, so we kind of established that as the group. Obviously in the music video, you see like us 4, me, Joy, Temi, and our friend Miracle. However, I think towards the end of 2020, Miracle said that she wouldn't be able to continue with the group anymore. Obviously, that was obviously made a difference because, well, she's not in our songs anymore or anything, but it's kind of a thing where we're all still friends anyway. We all started off as friends, so it hasn't really changed in that aspect. It's just that obviously now you see it's just 3 of us, not 4. But
so originally Gospel X was 4. There was 4 of yous.
There was it was just a friendship.
Oh, yeah, it was a lot of us at one point.
It was a lot. At one point there was like 7 people. So it's
wow.
And
that's why we use the X, because it's like an anonymous number, because we didn't know what the definite number would be. So it's been helpful in that sense.
Do you know what? I was actually going to ask you girls, why did you guys actually choose the name Gospel X? Because, you know, Gospel and then X. I was trying to figure it out. Why you girls chose Gospel X? Why the name Gospel X?
Yeah, it was kind of a thing where we wanted to call it something like Gospel, like 4 or 5 or however many people there were, but there was always a different number of people. So for that reason, we just put X instead of a number, because obviously the number could fluctuate, and X is kind of like, for example, you know, in maths when it's like, you know, find the value of X and it's always a different number. It was that kind of thing. But yeah.
Right, can you guys talk to me a little bit about the song Control? Why Control? Why the name Control? What's the story behind the song Control?
I guess when I wrote that song, it was kind of like I kind of wanted to do a message which would kind of comfort the listener at the same time as being like an actual vibe that you'd enjoy listening to, basically. So obviously it kind of talks about sometimes when you just feel a bit overwhelmed with like the things in life, and you just feel like, you know, everything is just going mad and you just don't know what to do. But even in those times when you feel like everything is going wrong, it's important to remember that God is still in control, and that's kind of like, that can always be your peace. So that's kind of the message which I wanted to communicate in the song, and just kind of, a message of comfort, like regardless of what people are going through.
Wow, I'm actually really shocked, you know, having to hear you say that, Naomi, because, you know, at this young age, not a lot of, you know, how can I say, not a lot of young adults actually think the way, you know, you've just said it to me. It is, you know, God must be using you guys in a mysterious way. I mean, girls, how did you all, like Temi, Joy, how did you feel about when Naomi wrote the song? How did you guys feel about that? Did you find yourself in it? Did you say to yourself, you know what, we'll go with it because we actually found ourselves in the song?
It's a very relatable song, to be honest, because everyone goes through their trials and tribulations. So when I heard it, like, it was just, I knew it had, like, it was going to do well because it had a very, like, high, like, relatability factor. And I think that's why it's remained one of our most popular. You know, I have two songs, but remained to be the most popular out of the two because so many people can relate to the feeling of feeling like you're out of control and feeling like you're spiraling. So, but always just remembering that God has control of the situation in the way He got you out the first time or bring you out the second time, basically.
Wow. Yeah. What about you, Timmy?
I think it was very like appropriate in terms of what we collectively everyone went through during last year of, you know, having lockdown and corona and everything. Obviously the world felt like it was just like falling apart and it was very chaotic. So I think in that sense, that's why a lot of people did relate to it, and how I related to it as well, on that level of just knowing that there's someone who has some level of control, because obviously all of us felt like we were out of control of our own lives in that period.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the pandemic and everything that has happened, how did you guys, you know, manage to stay focused? Like, because it's been so hard for everyone, you know, people have lost their jobs, education couldn't go on as normal. You know, how did you guys feel about the whole situation? In terms of your faith, I'm sure you must have, you know, struggled certain things. How did you guys, you know, pick yourself up?
Yeah, I think that obviously a lot went on last year, and it was easy to kind of get caught up in it and feel like, well, you know, there's no hope and just kind of give up. But
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, being at home, especially in the first lockdown from like March, it was kind of like, for me, it felt like all of the distractions were actually just put aside, and it felt like, because that was the time where I really, like, you know, was focusing on my relationship with God and like trying to grow in the faith and stuff like that. So for me, I kind of used it to focus on like getting to be the person who I wanted to be. And I mean, I wrote a lot of songs in that time and like tried to spend a lot of time with God and connecting with people who like online, who kind of inspire me, and people that I'm still like close friends with now. A lot of my close friends who are Christians, I mean, outside of Temi and Joy, were people who I met towards the end of 2020 or like during kind of lockdown time or in summer. So yeah, for me personally, I just tried to use that time to kind of focus on being the person who I wanted to be, because obviously, I mean, it's a bit weird to think about it, but we never know when Jesus is actually returning, you know what I mean? So you want to ensure that you're the person that you want to be when that minute comes, you know? So that's kind of what I was focusing on in that time. Yeah.
That's really good. What about Temi, what about you? How did you find yourself, your faith, you know, with the pandemic and everything?
Yeah, I feel like it was a period of like reflection for a lot of people, and I was able to, like, obviously in the same way as Naomi, like reconnect with God in that sense that it was kind of like it forced me to, because number one, obviously it felt like the world was very much like unstable, so it's like I needed to find some level of peace within my faith, and at the same level of like just being at home and, you know, being a bit bored and not really knowing what to do with myself, and just wondering like, okay, maybe everyone was putting up all these inspirational quotes about, you know, this is a time to work on yourself and all of that. So obviously I was able to refocus on some of the hobbies that maybe I'd dropped, and also just some of the things that I maybe had wanted to do, and you know, for some people, obviously I don't want to say that it was a blessing in disguise, but for some people there was elements of being at home and just not having any sort of external distraction was forcing a lot of people to just like confront certain things that they were going through that maybe they'd been distracting themselves with in their everyday lives and stuff. So I feel like in that sense that was how I reconnected in that period.
Wow. I mean, it's a lot of reconnection, isn't it? Like, I think a lot of people did actually reconnect with God and stuff during the pandemic, which was a great thing, because, you know, some good things did come out of it. You know, a lot of people did sit down, and like Naomi just said, she sat down and she was writing songs. Joy, what about you? Can you tell me a little bit about yourself as well during the pandemic? How did you find yourself?
I mean, you know, the pandemic was very uncertain time for everyone. And I feel like I I really want. I'm that kind of. I'm a bit of a nerd, so I always want to try and get ahead of everything and like find out like vaccines and how the virus works. Just so because I like to be educated on things. You know, I don't like speaking about things without knowing what's going on. So I kind of like just indulged in that, and I kind of end up losing myself a little bit because it was just giving me so much paranoia. This new virus that like was killing a lot of people, and the scientists didn't really know how it was working like so quickly. So I was able to kind of like, once I let that go, that obsession, that need to know everything, once I let it go and just let God, you know, it kind of helped me find peace with myself towards like the end of the, you know, end of the first lockdown. So yeah.
Wow. I mean, it is great to actually hear, you know, what you girls were up to, you know, reconnecting with God. I mean, not a lot of people were able to do that. You know, some people lost their jobs, they lost members of family. But, you know, luckily by God's grace, you know, he kept us. And like you guys, you know, Naomi was too busy writing songs. And I'm sure you guys are going to tell me, you know, that you've got amazing things coming up and stuff. So I'm excited to hear about that. But you know what? I want to ask you girls, how do you feel about the gospel industry in the UK? How do you guys feel about the gospel industry? Just in the UK, not anywhere else, so just in the UK. I want to hear a bit about what you guys thought.
I think the gospel industry in the UK is small. I knew it was small because the general music industry is in the UK is small anyways. Mm-hmm. But then like the gospel industry is like, wow, like it's way smaller than I thought it was. Mm-hmm. But like I don't really know that many people personally in the UK gospel industry, like music industry. So it's not like I know everyone, but it's small, but it's mighty, if that makes sense. Like the people who are in the industry are doing it for a good cause and they have good hearts. So that's really all that matters. It doesn't really matter like how, you know, flashy it is, you know.
I mean, now girls, in terms of the industry itself in the UK, like you've said, it is small. I want to know about Gospel X. Does Gospel X just do strictly gospel, or do you guys do the wider range, meaning that you're singing to touch every single soul, or you're just singing to touch Christians, just strictly Christians? Who is Gospel X on that aspect?
In that aspect, Gospel X is definitely for everyone. We would even, like, for example, things like collaborations and stuff, we'd definitely be willing to collaborate with you know, mainstream artists and stuff, because that's where you reach people who wouldn't usually hear about the gospel, hear about Jesus, hear about that kind of thing, because they wouldn't sit down in their house and like, you know, load up a sermon or any type of thing like that. But through music, because that's something that, you know, is kind of universally loved, especially with how popular it is. And I feel like collaborating with mainstream artists is a really good way to be able to reach people who you wouldn't be able to reach, because I mean that's what the whole thing is about. We're supposed to be spreading the good news, sharing the gospel, and yeah, I think that's why I love what we do so much, because it's such a good way to reach people that you wouldn't otherwise be able to reach. But yeah.
Wow. Right, let me just switch it up a little bit, okay girls? Now I want to know a little bit about Gospel X, top 3 gospel artists that has inspired you girls to do what you're good at. 3 top gospel artists. I mean, it should come out straight away from the top of your head. You 3 should be able to tell me straight away. Pardon?
Should we say one each?
Yeah, if you guys want, not a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, the first person that came to my mind was Governor B, just because he's someone that's been someone that we've actually had like contact with in terms of being able to, you know, see him live. And obviously a lot of gospel artists, like, we can be inspired by them, but it's not the same as like being able to watch them live and, you know, going to their concerts and seeing how they are as a person. And I think Governor B was one of the like most influential in that sense of like seeing the impact that he has like firsthand.
Yeah, because what Sam is referring to is because we used to go to this youth kind of Christian camp called Soul Survivor. I mean, it ended in I think 2019, but Governor B used to perform there every single year, So I must have seen him about like 4 or 5 times or something, 4 or 5 years in a row, because he was always there. And it's like, by that point, you just feel like you know him, even though you haven't even like spoken to him personally, you know? And like just seeing how he interacts with the crowd and like it's just so lively and energetic and stuff, like it just really encourages you. And also we've been able to perform in the same venue as him, I think on 2 other occasions.
Okay.
And, like both times he was really nice and encouraging and stuff, and that kind of thing, like just those like small little "oh you did well girls" and like anything like that, it really encourages you, especially after seeing him so many times. So I think that's why he's like he'll always be one of my favorites, because I mean he's just too cool. But
so we've discovered 1 artist. Now you have 2 more artists to tell me. So you've said Governor B, 2 more artists. They can be, you know what, they don't have to be just in the UK, it can be worldwide. Somebody that has inspired you guys.
I would definitely say Kirk Franklin. I mean, obviously it's a bit obvious, but I mean, you just have to, don't you? Because he's just so legendary. Like, I mean, even just looking through like the stuff that he's done, like back in the day, like Revolution, things like that. Even I think he was involved in doing some of the songs for Sister Act 2, which is like, I must have seen that movie like 500 times, honestly, but the music is just so amazing to me. And yeah, like he's obviously been doing it for such a long time, and it's like consistently amazing. So yeah, he'd definitely have to be one of my top 3 anyways.
Wow. So I've got 1 more now. 1 more. So you've given me Governor B, Kirk Franklin, 1 last artist.
Go on, Joy.
I mean, I can't speak for Temi, but I know me and Emmy, we used to grow up like listening to a lot of CC Winans. Who's probably like an OG, like especially me. Like my mum used to just play CC in the car all the time. No, but it's inspiring because it's like, you know, music industry is very male dominated. Every music industry is very male dominated. So it's nice, you know, up and hearing women in gospel music, women in like a sort of Christian space, and so it feels like as in like a path has been cleared for you so that you can enter in seamlessly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. So we've heard the top 3 gospel artists from Gospel X were Governor B, Kirk Franklin, and CC Winans. Now, your top 3 gospel songs that you listen to 24/7 non-stop. Top 3, top of your head that you got. It can even be your song, you know, because a lot of artists I've had, they've literally said their own song, which is okay. Top 3.
I'm thinking back to the first interview we had with DJ Marks, and when he asked us to all come with one of our favorite gospel songs, and the one that I said was this song called Bunonie. It's a different language, but it's just I'm gonna have to look up who it's by, but it's one of those songs where whenever I listen to it, I'm just like enlightened. I just feel, you know, just a weight off my shoulders. It's just amazing. But I remember I banged that out a lot when I was going through sixth form, because that was like the worst time of my life in terms of stress. So it was just like, and because it's in the language, it means no one else but you, and it was just nice, like in terms of recentering me and just being like, okay, it's all right, I've got this kind of thing. So that was my one.
What language is it in?
I think it's a Ghanaian language. I'm gonna have to check that though, because I don't want to speak.
It's Twi. I believe it's Twi.
Is that a Ghanaian language?
Yeah, Twi.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. I'm gonna have to check, because I always listened to it and it felt like I knew what they were saying, even though they were speaking different language. I never actually went and said, let me look up what this language is.
Oh, bless you girls. But you know what? I actually forgot to ask you girls where you were from, you know?
We're all Nigerian.
Nigerians, okay. All right.
Yeah, me and Joy are half. Oh, sorry.
No. Go on.
Oh no, it's just that, as in terms of our actual tribe, me and Joy are half Yoruba, half Edom, and I believe Temi is half Yoruba, half Hausa.
Okay, all right. Yes. So, girls, 2 more songs. 2 more songs.
For my one, I mean, currently, as of right now, my friend sent me this album by, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of Peter Cottontail, but I'd heard one of his songs before. I must find it in a playlist or something, and I was like, it's good, but I have no idea. I did not recognize his name or anything. But I listened to the album, and he's got so many people on it, like Chance the Rapper, Kirk Franklin, all these people, and I was like, okay. And this one song on there called Don't Leave, I just literally have it on repeat. Like, it's just so good to me.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the one I would say right now.
Okay, Joy.
I'm gonna say the same one that I said in the other interview that I had, because nothing's really changed. But it's Can't Nobody Do Me Like Jesus by the Mighty Clouds of Joy, and it's an old song. I mean, it's not even that old. It is old, but like the cover is like made. It was a cover of a song, and the cover was made in the 90s, and it's like one of those like really churchy. You know, there's really like African American churchy songs. It's like one of them. Songs, you know, choir, you know, shouting and call and response. Yeah. That's my favorite stuff. Like that is the best stuff to me. So yeah.
Right, guys. So you guys have heard top 3 gospel songs from Gospel X, and we've also heard the top 3 artists from Gospel X. Now, girls, I know your new track is called Anointing. Am I right? Anointed?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, please. Tell me a little bit about your song Anointed.
Anointed is basically a song that I wrote about feeling a bit like down about maybe yourself and just about life in general, and then kind of realizing that you are like special in God's eyes, and knowing that, you know, with faith you can never be disappointed. That's literally the lyric. So whenever you're feeling down or any sort of like worries in your life, you can kind of remember that you have like something within you that like can't be compared to anyone else. So you're special within yourself, and just feeling like anointed through that, basically.
Wow. I mean, you know, I'm so shocked by what you've just said. Now, girls, it has been a great pleasure. Now, I want our listeners to see what you guys, you know, have been doing. So we're going to play the song Control by Gospel X. Just stick around for me.
That's what you just caught on to. When you're hoping and you're praying, but there's nowhere you can run to. They be ringing my line, but they know I'm calling on you. Can't be wasting my time, I'm putting no one else before you. 'Cause my God is love, and I know He is enough for love like I've never seen before. Promise He'll never leave, no. He's in control, and I got to let you know now. Words aren't hurting me anymore. It's my life He's restored. And lots of the time I feel I'm being pushed aside, and I keep repeating myself, oh, trying to fill me with doubt. Now tell me what's it really about. I've been working for His glory. God won't let you shut me out. Oh no, won't start my heart. You think that I'm weak, but just play your part. Let me not even speak. I felt things I don't show, and I could be feeling so low. On my knees I pray, Lord, just take this pain away. Oh, it's harder than that. That's what you just caught on to. When you're hoping and you're praying, but there's nowhere you can run to. They're living on my life, but they know I'm calling on you. I can't be wasting my time, I'm putting no one else before you. 'Cause my God is love, and I know He is enough for love like I've never seen before. Promise He'll never leave, no. He's in control, and I got to tell you, and I got to let you know now. Words aren't mind and faith, I got out. I know what this life is about. Never let the enemy win this battle. See, I can never give up at all. Got me singing like, oh, feeling like, oh, yeah. How could I ever live without you? Cause when times get rough, I gotta send praises up. All that time is yours. My heart is for you, oh Lord. It's harder than that. That's what you just go on to. When you're hoping and you're praying, but there's no way you can run to. Baby, realize, but they don't pull it on you. Can't be wasting my time. I'm putting all else before you. Cause my God is love. And I know He is enough. Love like I've never seen before. Promise He'll never leave me. He's in control. And I got to let you know now. Words won't hurt me anymore. It's my life He's restored. He's in control. And I got to let you know now. Words won't hurt me anymore. It's my life He's restored.
Right, guys, you guys have heard Gospel X and the song is called Control. Right, guys, can you guys just tell me a little bit about what you have got planned in the next 2 or 3 months or 4 months or a year? What have you got planned?
Well, we're going to be dropping another song in this summer, so look out for that. And following that, we might be working on a project, so hopefully you guys will see a lot more of us by summer, and again maybe towards the end of this year or next year. But yeah.
Wow. And girls, what area are you guys from? What areas are you guys from?
We all live in Chelmsford in Essex. But we obviously, Joy goes to uni in London. I'm in Norwich most of the time for uni.
Okay.
So, Naomi's in Colchester.
Wow. And girls, where can our listeners find your music, or find your page or social media? Where can our listeners find you guys?
Our Instagram is GospelX Official, Twitter is GospelX Official, and our music is available on all streaming platforms. And yeah, basically.
Right, guys, so you guys have just been tuning in with myself, Shashisha, and today we had Gospel X in the house. We found out so much about them today. It's been amazing. Girls, I want to thank you so much for coming into Fresh Music Flavor.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
No worries. We hope to see you guys very soon.
Of course.
Bye, girls.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.